Alexa, what is the superhero movie with the word ass in the title? You're not supposed to think this hard or this deep or go in this depth about these books, but I am. No! Hello guys, and welcome to the Devil's Night video. This series has completely ruined and shaped my life. It means everything to me in the world. I'm currently on my third reread of the Devil's Night series, and I started the first book, Corrupt, on September 3rd this year. And I read these books the first time in about a week, read the whole series. So I just thought, okay, like it's September, I want to get ready for the spooky vibes. I thought I would be done by the end of September, and it's gonna be Christmas. I'm still working on them. That means that I've been trucking through these massive books for 3.5 months now. These books range anywhere from like 460 pages to 750 pages. These are huge books. I just feel like an official citizen of Thunder Bay and Meridian City. I feel like such a pro now that I've spent so much time with these characters. I love these books. I hate these books. I will always return to these books. So the first book, Corrupt, in this reading took me 3 weeks to get through. And then the second one, Hideaway, also took me 3 weeks to get through. Kill Switch only took me 2 weeks. And then Nightfall, this fourth book, has taken me almost a full month to get through. And I think that like how long it took me to read each one really puts into perspective like the order at which I would rank these books and which ones I like the best. I always say this book is redeemed and held up and everything by the third book, Kill Switch. I think she did her best work with that one. And I honestly think it's why I have such a fondness for this series, which is really funny because the first time I read it, I thought he was the worst ever. Weirdly though, I gave Kill Switch 5 stars. It's the only one that I gave 5 stars. Even though I didn't ever like Damon or like connect with their story, I thought it was the best book still. But now after rereading, I have a completely different take on it. Like my mind is completely changed about them. And I love arguing with people about it online. But I actually think what happens in Damon's story is what happens in a lot of series that I love, where this third book kind of perfectly will take all of the already existing plot, all of the existing conflict, and really bring everything to a head and work to resolve it and have a great ending, be like so good. The third book, you're like, oh, stop right there. Like you did the damn thing. But then authors will write a fourth book where they then add a lot of new characters that like ultimately don't matter. It feels like fan service, like it just feels like fan fiction. Doesn't add a whole lot to the story, but is also pivotal in a way. And weirdly, like these fourth books tend to be people's favorites. Like people definitely are more drawn to these like final books, obviously, of any series. And that's not to say that I dislike these fourth books, except for with Devil's Night. I am now on the fence because I thought that I loved this fourth book maybe the most. Like I used to say the fourth book was my favorite, but I think again, it's like that recency bias thing where you read the last book in a series and you're like, that was incredible. But then when you reread, you're like, was that incredible or was I just like so in love with this world and this story? I think that that is what happened for me with Nightfall for sure. This reread has taught me a lot about myself, about these characters, about Thunder Bay, and maybe in a bad way. I think I know way too much about this story. It's getting like a little kooky. So before I get into my reading vlog of the final novella, Fire Night, I just need to point out some of the things that I noticed upon rereading this third time and some things that I need to say as a seasoned pro of Devil's Night. And also I just want to say I did not read Conclave, but I didn't reread it because it's pretty cheesy and it's connecting things that don't need to be connected. And it's doing a lot of heavy lifting explaining what Black Church is. I'm realizing now that this whole video is just going to be lost on anyone who doesn't know Devil's Night. So I hope that if you are here, you know Devil's Night, you know Ball, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I didn't reread it because I obviously didn't need any more roadblocks, any more things that were slowing me down on this journey that was already taking a lifetime. So I just moved right on ahead to Nightfall, and I am going to read Fire Night. I have it loaded up right here. We will get there in a minute. Just let me talk my shit for a second. Number one, the Michael Christ that exists in Corrupt is not the same Michael Christ that exists in the rest of the books. I also kind of feel like this is true about both Ricka and Michael because she kind of wrote them as the most basic, unlikable, just like boring and also like twisted and unhealthy relationship in that first book. You're not rooting for them. If anything, the whole time I'm like, girl, stand up. And also to this man, I'm like, you are completely lacking a heart. Like, you are the type of guy who, I've literally read books where the guy is a sociopath and has more feelings and more softness and gentleness to him than Michael Christ has. They're just given so much more depth and such a character arc in the rest of the books that I don't think is like authentic or deserved, and it feels just very like out of place. The way Michael does not give a shit if she lives or dies in that first book versus the way that he feels about her like towards the end, where he's like, I would do anything for her. I would go to the ends of the earth for her. It just doesn't make sense. It feels like such a reach. And another thing on them, Michael is supposedly in the NBA, but we never hear about him going to practice. He travels a few times, but it's like his basketball is kept so mysterious and so under wraps. It's like, you honestly forget if you aren't constantly reminded. I don't think it even gets mentioned as the books go on. There will be scenes where like Michael's teammates are there with the whole group, but rarely ever is Michael like playing in the NBA. It's just so funny. It's a funny thing to add and then not actually go through with having him be a basketball player. You know what I mean? It's just so funny. My other gripe overall though is Penelope Douglas takes a very strange shortcut with these books where, so if you aren't familiar with like romance and like romance series, there usually is always this like pivotal scene where the two characters are obviously falling in love, making it work, and then they like bring each other home to their families, or like something happens where they meet each other's families. And Devil's Night has a very serious lack of these scenes. I will give her credit though, because the whole point of Devil's Night and these horsemen is that it's like a found family and they treat each other like family, because some of them have good families, but a lot of them have like pretty messed up, like jacked up family lives. So I understand them like not putting blood first. They treat each other like blood more than they do their own blood. You know what I mean? But the one area, and this is because it's fresh on my mind, I just read Nightfall, is William Grayson III makes absolutely no sense. William Grayson III is the youngest of 3 boys, and his parents are so loving. They adore him. Everybody loves William. Like I don't know why I just said William, no one calls him that. Everybody loves Will. Like, he has no beef with anyone. He is everybody's sweetheart. His grandparents love him. His parents love him. His brothers, I would think, love him, but I don't know, because they are literally never mentioned. I am pretty sure, someone can clock me if I'm wrong, but I am almost positive after just reading this, I don't think that we even get names for Will's parents or Will's brothers. It's like the funniest thing to me. He has a good family. There's no reason that he wouldn't bring Emery to come meet his parents. There's no reason why his parents wouldn't just be a part of everything and like friends with the other parents and around. They are so absent. It's like you're watching an 80s horror movie. You know how like the kids, like the parents are just never seen, they're like only heard. That's what this feels like with William Grayson. It makes no sense. It's so funny to me. And you might be like, why are you picking this apart? And the reason I am is because, like I just said, Nightfall took me a month to get through. And the reason why is because it's 752 pages of wrapping up some loose ends, but really just making for a lot more questions and a lot more rabbit holes. There are so many like twists, especially in the last like 200 pages about, like, it is just go, go, go. You're like, what is even happening anymore? Like, hang on to your pants, because you just, it's flying at the speed of light, the amount of things that happen. It doesn't feel cohesive. It just is like, what is going on here? But anyway, 752 pages, that is so much space to add a scene of your girlfriend meeting your parents and your brothers, or giving us a name for your parents and your brothers, giving us a memory, having them show up at all. It's almost like, it's like if this were a show or a movie, it's like they didn't have budget to cast more people. So they were just like, you know what? Yeah, Will has a family, but we don't need to worry about that. But it's a book. It's simply just writing those things in. I don't know why it wasn't valued enough. It's such a funny thing. And again, I'm like losing my mind. You're not supposed to think this hard or this deep or go in this depth about these books, but I am. And again, this is all said with love. I have chosen to read these books this many times. I love them. I know I'm being a little harsh, and I can do that because they feel like family to me, okay? I truly mean that. Now that I've said all of my piece about the Devil's Night series, let's get into my reading of Fire Night. I'm so excited. Fire Night is only 99 pages long. Let me double check that out. And if my memory serves me right, it actually does kind of fill in some of the gaps that I'm talking about with these families and the parents and the whole mystery of like, where do all these people come from? I feel like Fire Night does a good job of that. It also has a time jump into the future. And by the end of Devil's Night, there are all of these kids and more kids on the way that they're all just popping out at like rapid speed. and they are actually like a big part of this, which is super fun. And I'm really sad because actually Penelope Douglas was going to write a spin-off series of Devil's Night of like the kids, and she sets them up to be so fun. Like the way that these kids have personalities and the way they're talked about by the end of Nightfall and the end of Fire Night. Again, I need to reread so I can refresh my memory. But I just know that it's so fun, and I was so sad to learn that she actually is never going to write this series because she got so much hate for the Devil's Night series. I'm really sad because I actually think that these characters that she wrote for their kids would have made for a really good series. So that's just one other thing that I wanted to add. I am excited to read Fire Night. I am excited that like I'm finally into the Christmas book of it all now that it's December. Like it's been kind of hard going back in time to go back to October and Devil's Night. So it's nice to be caught up and in the season. 'Tis the season. But yeah, let's get into Fire Night. One thing that I always appreciate in these is how they talk about how they all have nannies and they have multiple nannies, which I am just like, they're so real for that, because I'm like, one child is so much, but the way that they have just a whole gaggle of kids around all the time, nannies are so real. Loving the parent stuff like I talked about. So this book, I forgot, is separated. I think it's just every chapter is a different guy's POV, so you kind of get like a wrap up from each one of them. The first one is Kai's, and the first scene is Banks and Katsu, Kai's dad, not boxing. What the hell am I even talking about? It's so late. Like training, you know, in the gym together. And she's like in tears because she's like, you're so lucky that you had such a good dad. Even though from Kai's POV, like we've never seen it that way. He just is like, my dad's really hard on me. He's been disappointed in me. I've upset him. But then she does this really good job of like loving all of that because she was a feral child without any parents. And I just think that that's so cute. I do remember actually really loving this scene. And I feel like this is like the main thing that I remember from this book. Like I was talking about, adding all these characters in the last book to not use them. This is so funny. It says, Alex wasn't here to suffer Michael's wrath tonight. She and Aiden were spending the holidays with his family in New York, and we were also missing Micah and Rory, who were in Fiji. Misha and Ryan were invited, but I doubted they'd show. Why did we add them? Why did we add them? We couldn't even put them in the novella. They could be in the novella if we're going to add them in the fourth book. I think we at least deserve to see them in the novella. Give me some payoff, queen. Cookie break. I got my Christmas cookie. I just finished the Kai chapter, and I'm remembering how much I love Banks and Kai. While I was talking about how like Michael and Rika, their relationship and the way it progresses does not seem genuine, Kai and Banks feel very genuine to me. Same way that she is insecure and needs reassurance from him in their book, that stays consistent, I find. Like I feel like they keep that energy, and I just so appreciate that. Also, this Fire Night just seems like the funnest tradition ever. Lighting a chandelier with candles, and I love they say this too, that there's multiple chandeliers, but they only light one because they're like, it's so much work to get even one chandelier lit with all these candles. So the fact that the kids all go to the movie theater and have like a lock-in night of their own, like that is so much fun. That would be the most fun like adventure and thing to grow up as a kid. They also say that on Christmas night at midnight is when they open up the gifts. They reunite with their parents and they open up their Christmas presents. And also there's this funny scene of Will being the Phantom of the Opera, and the orchestra plays the Phantom of the Opera song while the chandelier is rising and falling. Like it's all just so dramatic and fun. Like I really do appreciate how fun Fire Night is. Okay, now I'm in Damon's POV. These kids were going to have a rude awakening when they got into the world and realized there was no place like Thunder Bay. There really is no place like Thunder Bay. He's so real for that. I'm so not a part of a society or anything where balls and dancing like this is a thing, but I always find it so funny when they're like at this nice formal ball and everyone is just dancing with everyone. Like Damon is like, I spot my wife dancing with Kai's father. Why on earth would your wife be dancing with your friend's dad? Is that not so weird to anyone else? Like, I can't wrap my head around these things. And then, like, Damon was dancing with Banks. Why would brother and sister be sharing a dance together and he's, like, dipping her and they're smiling? I don't understand dance culture or this fancy culture, so maybe this is normal. But to me, I'm like, what is going on here? My enemy. I'm going to stop here. I'm at 63%. Michael's chapter. Stopping here for the night, 63%. I have to say, I'm having such a good time reading this right now. I am having so much fun. And it's like perfect because it's so short and so fast. There is a lot of drama and a lot of action, but it also like only getting one chapter per character to give you this kind of like epilogue of where they're at in the future seems like it wouldn't be enough, but I actually think it's perfectly capturing like the spirit of each one. So I'm loving it so much. I'm having such a better time. And I don't care that it's stupid and silly and the drama is dumb. I am having such a fun time, and I love all of these kids and how many freaking kids these people had. Like, it's truly inspiring. I could never. Hello guys. It's the next day and I'm being so vulnerable. I have never pinned my curls, but I just bought these because I see everyone doing this and their curls come out so good. My hair just keeps falling, but I fear like we girl boss too close to the sun. I look like the Cowardly Lion. Like this. I literally used to curl my hair like this for 7th grade and be like, that's really good. They came out completely spiral springy. This is actually like so funny. Look at the back. I don't know what it looks like, but I'll find out in editing this. My hair it looks like I got a haircut with how short this is making my hair look. No! I also think I need to add like hair oil into my hair and then it will help with this whole situation. But no, now that I'm doing this, I think it will be okay. This is just editing me showing you that my hair did get better. I just needed to let it sit for a little longer and the curls did not fall. Do I do this again? Probably. I probably will keep doing this until I find something better. The pink is making me look like that girl from Badass. What is that? What is that superhero movie? Jackass? It's not Superbad, it's not Jackass, it's not Superass. What is that superhero movie? Alexa, what is the superhero movie with the word ass in the title? She can't even help me.
Searching for that superhero movie. I found Kick and Kick to extend it.
Yes, Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass, duh. I love that phrase. I look like the girl from Kick-Ass right now. Okay, this was not the point of any of this.
You're a fan of that franchise. Searching for the ladies from Kick.
Alexa, stop. She got a new voice recently that I don't care for between you and me. And we tried to change it back to like the OG robotic voice. And she's like, do you like this one? I'm like, no, because you sound like a person. And she's too chat GPT now. Like I liked when I would ask her questions and she would just kind of like spout off something that was vaguely helpful. That's as far as I want AI and the internet to go. I don't want her to give it to me funny and give it to me silly the way she does now. Anyway, let's sit down and read Fire Night while I have some time right now. I probably have about like 30 more minutes, which should be enough time to finish this book. I only have a little bit left. I got a Fresca in my fun little cup. I'm again begging Penelope Douglas to write the spinoff series because it's so interesting. Mads, Kai, and Banks' son clearly has autism and I'm obsessed. Like the way you get his chapter with his POV and like his little things, he's so smart. He's such a like quiet, interesting kid who kills people. Like this, seriously, I need this book. I want it so bad. Same thing, honestly, with all of them. She wrote really interesting kids for these characters. Like it needs to be made into another series for me to love and hate. One funny thing about Mads though too is he sleeps in a fresh suit. His mom is like, hey bud, I got you some jammies. And he's like, oh, that's okay. I'm comfortable in my suit. He's wearing a fresh suit. And he's 11. Like you sleep in a suit? It would be more believable if he was in like a polo or something. Suit? Like that's insane to me. Also, you guys, I bought, I had my husband buy me this e.l.f. SPF. I love this stuff. I accidentally had him get me so not the right color, but I am too proud to admit that. First, I was self-tanned and I was like, this can work. It's way too dark. But the good thing is my camo cream is actually too light. And so I just kind of feel like they go together and then cancel each other out. I have a pimple patch on my piercing because for some reason this 21-year-old piercing is flaring up so bad lately. Like I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't know that you could have an unhealed piercing after 21 years of having a piercing. Okay, and done. I loved that. That was such a lovely experience. It was way faster and faster moving than I even remembered too. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but it must be just Conclave, because Conclave, I feel like, took me forever to read, adds too much while also not explaining enough. But then I feel like with this one, Fire Night, everything about it is just perfect. Like, I seriously feel like every page, nothing needed to be cut. Like, it all needed to be there. It all added something and was so good. I do think that this one also gets back to kind of like what I was talking about, how like Michael, you lose sight of like who Michael was ever in all the rest of the books. I feel like this one actually got back to it in a funny way, because he's kind of an asshole about everyone else's kids. He's like only looking out for his own children. I love that Will and Emery are playful and fun because they never were before, so I like that. I like knowing that, you know, they get to a point again where he can be his silly self. Again, where the hell is his family? Do we get any of Will's family? No. And now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, no, there is actually so much still that could be used for this next series. And now I'm thinking maybe I went too hard on her, because I'm like, she didn't fix all of these loose ends with Nightfall, but maybe that's because she was going to do more with this like series that is now never going to happen. I know me saying that a million times is completely useless, but I'm like, I don't know. Can we get a petition started? Can we get it going? Get it trending? Miss Penelope, will you do it for the fans, please? Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for finishing Devil's Night with me and getting through Fire Night together. Overall, I have loved and hated this experience. It definitely will be another at least year till I come back to this, obviously, hopefully. But I just love Devil's Night. I love talking about Devil's Night, and I know that I have these harsh critiques, but I know I say this all the time. It seriously comes with love. I think everybody needs to read it. If you are a dark romance fan, they are some of my favorite dark romances. Like, if you think that I have harsh things to say about this, you should see me reading any other dark romance, because I go way harder. I actually think that this is kind of like the cream of the crop. I think this is the best dark romance on the market, honestly. Thank you guys for being here and for getting this far. I appreciate you so much.